We interrupt our program with a special bulletin. An unidentified object has been spotted in orbit around the Earth.
Greetings, invaders. My name is Scott. This is Book Invasion. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite books of the year, Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. Now, is this book considered fantasy? Is it considered horror? Is it dystopian? Well, it's a bit of all of those things, and it is fantastic. In an interview, the author described it as a humorous literary novel that's dystopian with some horror elements, with some nature writing, and some fantasy. I think that works. So what is Hollow Kingdom about? It is about a lot of things, and it's pretty crazy to unpack. So let me read you the synopsis, and we'll get into it. One pet crow fights to save humanity from an apocalypse in this uniquely hilarious debut from a genre-bending literary author. St, a domesticated crow, is a bird of simple pleasures, hanging out with his owner, Big Jim, trading insults with Seattle's wild crows, those idiots, and enjoying the finest food humankind has to offer, Cheetos. Then Big Jim's eyeballs fall out of his head, and St starts to feel like something isn't quite right. His most tried and true remedies, from beak-delivered beer to the slobbering affection of Big Jim's loyal but dim-witted dog, Dennis, fail to cure Big Jim's debilitating malady. St is left with no choice but to abandon his old life and venture out into a wild and frightening new world with his trusty steed Dennis, where he discovers that the neighbors are devouring each other and the local wildlife is abuzz with rumors of dangerous new predators roaming Seattle. Humanity's extinction has seemingly arrived, and the only one determined to save it is a foul-mouthed crow whose knowledge of the world around him comes from his TV-watching education. Hollow Kingdom is a humorous, big-hearted, and boundlessly beautiful romp through the apocalypse and the world that comes after, where even a cowardly crow can become a hero. So this book was definitely a unique read. It has explored elements that I haven't experienced before, is where after humans and the apocalypse happens and the zombie apocalypse happens, what about the animals? What about the birds and the dogs and the gophers and the possums and all of the other creatures living around our world while humanity is slowly falling apart? What about them? And this crow, known as St, has been domesticated to a point where he doesn't want to be part of the natural world. He thinks all of the people out in the wilderness are cretins, and he wants to sit with Big Jim and watch Entertainment Tonight and Celebrity Housewives and things like that with Big Jim on his couch while he scrolls through Tinder dates and things like that. So he is very much in his own head thinking that he is part of humanity and part of the humans, and everything out in the wilderness is just a bunch of crazy animals. So this is definitely the unlikely hero trope, where after St's cozy little existence, living with Big Jim and eating Cheetos with his slobbering doofus of a dog, Dennis, having a good life, dealing with Big Jim's depression because his Tinder dates don't work out. Then one day, Big Jim's eyeballs fall out, and he secludes himself in the basement, scratching against the wall with his finger until his finger is swollen down to the bone. And so St isn't sure how to fix this, so he wants to help Big Jim get better. So he tries what he can. He gets beer cans out of the fridge, or he tries to throw his Cheetos in his mouth and things like that, but it's not happening. Big Jim's one eyeball is out, and he's just mindlessly going through the motions. So after a while, St thinks that we should check out what's going on in the neighborhood, and he sees people chasing each other. He hears sirens, he sees fires, and he thinks something is amiss. What's going on with these people? So I really love this book and how it uncovered the natural world that surrounds us, and it puts voices into those things. The flock of crows, the possums, everything like around the zoo, all the stuff that you may see all day to day, it puts voices into those things, so it makes you really rethink when you're walking by a tree and you hear a bird chirping, what is it really saying? And the book does a really great job of diving into that in this kind of humorous post-apocalyptic world where ST is the most foul-mouthed little thing, and he has conflicting worldviews other than the birds that have been living out in the wild. And so the humor of this book is very fantastic, and I loved it. So there's a lot of good parts in this book. As you can see, I marked a lot of quotes and ideas and things in here, and I want to kind of read a couple.
My name is Turd, ST for short, and I'm a domesticated crow, raised by Big Jim, who taught me the ways of your kind, whom he called mofos. He gave me my floral vocabulary and my indubitably unique name. He taught me to say some mofo words. Because of the aforementioned Tinder misadventures, Big Jim and I spent quality, or rather quantity time together, and I have an array of tricks under my plume. I know about mofo things like windows and secrets and blow-up dolls. And I am the rare bird who loves your kind, the ones who walk on two legs and built the things you dreamt of, including the Cheeto. I owe my life to you. As an honorary mofo, I'm here to be utterly honest and tell you what happened to your kind, the thing none of us saw coming.
So here's a good quote that I'll share with you. So there we were, a rejected crow with an identity crisis, partnering a bloodhounds with the IQ of boiled pudding. We were perhaps the most pathetic excuse for an attempted murder on the face of the earth. I'm not sure why everyone hates possums so much. They may look like someone shaved the buttocks of a poodle and taught it to talk through its asshole, but they're really generally pretty likable critters. It's great. It's great stuff. I love it. At the final thing of this book, the mood of it is more of, more of a celebratory mood, and let's take care of not just the animals but humanity itself. So it really had it was kind of uplifting in a way, even though it's a dystopian zombie book about people eating each other. There's hope at the end of this book, and it was really great. I think that's why I loved it so much, is that even in this darkest time where this destruction is happening, ST kind of makes a crusade among himself and tries to be the hero and save the memories and the culture of... So why should you read Hollow Kingdom? Because it explores kind of the life through a different lens. You're not experiencing this through people. It's an apocalyptic setting through the eyes of a domesticated crow and other kind of domestic animals being thrown into a world where their humans are no longer caring for them, and they don't have the comforts, the creature comforts, so to speak, as of any domesticated animal anymore. So now what do? And the humor in this book is quite vulgar. Of course, it's a crow who speaks like a frat boy or something, and I thought it was hilarious. And there also is strong companionship between ST the crow and Dennis the dog, because they've been raised together in the same house by Big Jim, and now they're out on an adventure. So you have a close-knit kind of friendship there that's really well done in this book. So this was the most unique book that I've read in a long time, and I absolutely loved it, and it was fantastic. I would very, very highly recommend that you read this. It's not sci-fi, it's not dystopian, it's not fantasy. You can't really categorize this other than just a really fun and unique book. It has a bit of everything in it. It's not scary. There's just kind of a bit of action scenes between the animals, but most of it is a more outward look on humanity from the perspective of animals, and it gives you kind of a more of appreciation for the animals and all of your domesticated animals you have. But then after we're gone, what happens? This is a debut from Kira Jane Buxton, and I would highly, highly recommend this book. I cannot gush about this enough. So those are my thoughts on Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. Please go check it out. It was fantastic. I would highly recommend, too, that you check out the audiobook version I had an audio version. I followed along in the book, and the narration of this was fantastic. So, if you can, check out the audio. If you can't, read the book, but you may not get the snarkiness a little bit as told by the narrator. But it's still just a great read. I loved it so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like more of this stuff, if you like Hollow Kingdom, let me know down below. If you want more of this good content, like and subscribe, please. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.